Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday message for March 16th of 2025. The last time that I did a video, I spoke about the first four planes of supply as described in the book Wells of Abundance by E.V. Ingraham. And of course, the first well of abundance, or the first plane of abundance, the first law of abundance, is absorption. And that's opening ourselves up to take in all the energy of good around us, the beauty, the peace, the joy, and abundance that fills all the ethers all around. And the second one is force. Once we absorb the energy around us and make it ours, we begin to claim our good from the universe as we go deeper within, more and more fully accepting our supply. Then, as we use our affirmations, we begin to use a little more force in those affirmations to actually fully claim our good. Like, I am prosperous. I am healthy, not just by saying, I am prosperous. I am healthy. We actually use a little more force. I am healthy. So the third law is work, but it's work not to bring in just for money. It's finding something to share with the world of our talents. We're here to contribute to this world, and finding work that we love to do, that supports us energetically and supports the world. That's the work that we're here to do. And finally, it's the law of attraction. We are always attracting supply through our beliefs and our interconnection with Source. So today, I would like to continue that conversation with the last three um, wells of abundance, the last three laws, the last three planes of what he calls supply. And the fifth law is called supply as an inheritance. And in this chapter, Ingraham states that the more frequently you associate with anything, the more you feel a part of it, and the more its operations financially affect you. But it's not just financially, it's health wise, it's with joy, it's with peace, it's with, connection. So, first and foremost, we are spiritual beings. And as he writes, you are not a product of or a part of a material world. The things that appear upon the earth are just expressions of the same system that produced it in the first place. It's called the universal system. The entire system is, of course, God, who is creator, ruler, and sustainer of the entire system. And you are a product of the same infinite system. You are actually a more complete expression. You are energetically the very image and likeness of God, and therefore you are the highest form in the line of succession, the highest in material form. The universe, God, is solely responsible for your being here. The universe, therefore, owes you a living and is glad to give it to you. And furthermore, it is your natural heritage. Now, please note, it is the universe that owes you a living, not the world. So, as a child of God, you naturally inherit all supply and support that is necessary for you to continue to express that which has progressed to this point. In the Lord's Prayer, with the statement, "Give us this day our daily bread," Jesus was calling your attention to your inheritance. He did not tell you to ask for what belongs to another. He is distinctly telling you to ask for something that is already yours. So there is the statement, it is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And only the universal system can sustain you for the creator is both the life and the substance of the created. He also writes that it's best to dwell upon the fact that you are more dependent upon the invisible forces and forms. The air around you, it's something you inherit in the very process of living. It's yours by right, and no one can rob you of it, or nor can they charge you for it. And so, from the highest forces of the universe, you inherit all things. They're yours by divine right. All that the source has is yours. And when you say, "Give me this day my daily bread," you are actually claiming your inheritance. So, claiming, accepting, receiving, and building this universal aspect of supply into your character and consciousness is really the most vital procedure. And by it, you get back into harmony with the basic facts, and the sense of wealth and security become living realities to you. So here, outer supply begins to actually seek you. The magnet here works stronger than ever. And Ingraham makes the statement, outer supply rides on the current of your inner supply, your connection to your inner supply. And this practice leads to an actual interest of your supply. So once you realize that everything in heaven and earth is yours by divine right, you actually begin to accept it into your energetic field. Now, this is not coming from the outer, it's coming from the inner. And once again, outer supply rides on the current of your inner supply. As long as you fully understand, take it in, and know and accept that all the supply of the universe is yours, you begin to attract it immediately. Now, this is all an energetic knowing that your supply, this supply around you, is yours. It's a state of consciousness. So Ingraham writes, the absolute knowing that a thing is yours is the irresistible force that brings it to you. That which I know is mine must come to me by the very law of my being. I assume the attitude of an inheritor. That's one of his statements, to mull over and take within and have it become a part of you. And this is a feeling that you inherit the abundance of God. And he says, keep it up until the radiant sense of it being yours comes over you. And this is when you enter the world of having and attracting. You enter the energetic world where there is enough and more to spare. Now, you will still work, but your work will not deal the labor for the reward. This work is going to be an absolute joyous expression of inward wealth that you must work to express the great joy and abundance of life. You work in order that others may be enriched by your efforts. The sixth plane of supply is supply in the creative process. Emerson once wrote, "Hast not thy share? Lo, it rushes thee to meet. All that nature made thy own, floating in air or pent in stone, shall ride the hills and swim the sea, and like thy shadow, follow thee." In other words, all your good is always around you, no matter where you are or where you go. And Ingraham writes that one of the reasons that we have not found a manifested abundance in our lives is that we really haven't searched for it. We've just kind of stepped back and let life be life. But it's the progressive unfoldment of the understanding that we were created by Source and are an expression of Source And therefore, all that Source has is ours first and must be expressed in and through us. And once we get this, we understand that the outer expression of abundance can only express to the degree of our inner awareness of the truth of our being. Then we search with the firm knowing that within us is the expression of all the gifts of the universe. You know, whenever there is an inheritance, there must be a source from where it came from. There must always be a willingness and activity that the inheritance has from the source to the inheritor. The gift implies the giver and the act of giving, and that also means a receiver and the act of receiving. You know, it seems that vegetation absorbs supply from, the sun, the air, and the earth. But in reality, the supply is forced upon the vegetation because it's always there feeding the vegetation. And the other side of that is the plants and vegetation are open to receiving this life force. And it's that active process of accepting what's out there is what starts to assist the growth and progress of their development. You know, the statement, consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, is an illustration to prove that your supply is always in operation, moving upon you from every direction and offering you the wealth of heaven and earth. However, most of us are not in accord with the natural process of life. It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow thereto. It is God who gives its power to get well. You know, all these statements take on a new meaning when we understand that every moment of every day, Source is sending us all the gifts of heaven. But it's up to us to awaken to the realization of the fact and to rise to the state of absolute certainty in the entire matter of supply. You know, all creation proceeded from an active process, or there cannot have been any creation. If the active process contained that which produced form, it also contains all the necessary elements to sustain form. You know, God is more than the life of all creation. God is the actual substance of the creation. And supply is therefore an active movement of all elements necessary to sustain and maintain your being. Source itself is already produced you, and you belong to it. And in a more vital sense, it belongs to you. And of course, source is supply itself. Source has projected you out into the earth, and you are its expression. So always remember that the outer supply moves on the tide of the inner state of consciousness, the inner state of knowingness, the inner state of understanding. And this inner force is always moving to supply you with every good and perfect gift. So take your mind off of what the results are or should be, and keep your mind on the inner part, accepting your fullness of supply. Now, one of the affirmations he gives is, my supply of all good is at hand. The wealth of heaven and earth move toward me. I inherit the wealth of the universe, and it's pouring its great wealth upon me. I am abundantly supplied within and without from the eager storehouse of the universe. I open my whole being wide that the eager abundance of God may enrich me in all my world. And one of the other facts that he brings up in this chapter is supply moves eternally. All that you have not used is actually stored up for you, just as water is piled up behind the dam. Ingraham writes that this is the cause of sometimes the pressure you feel. You think the pressure is the weight or oppression of lack, but it's actually the pressure of your universal bank account, the unused resource of your nature that's crowding in upon you. Life moves on, and we must keep up with it, or we'll feel its pressure. And someday you must express the abundance of spirit. That's the order of life. And all that you have lacked is stored up behind all your nature. It's the universal bank account waiting for you to adjust yourself energetically to its tendency that it can flood you with blessings until you are unable to contain them all. The great secret of swift results, either in healing or supply, is the knowledge that omnipotence moves upon you to heal, to bless, and to prosper you. You know, the same power that sent you will sustain you and heal you if you receive. And this, of course, is where meditation comes in. The more you focus on accepting your supply willingly and lovingly, the greater the supply comes in. And that's financial supply, health supply, joy supply, great relationship supply, whatever supply you need or desire, it's there just waiting for you to accept it, own it. And the seventh plane of supply is supply and the absolute. Now, Ingraham explains that this plane of supply is a little harder to attain because we attain this level only when we have expanded our consciousness to comprehend the universality of all things visible and invisible and have entirely lost the sense of separation. There's no longer you and me guiding us. There's only God. The highest consciousness of supply comes when you have so completely lost yourself in the infinite that you no longer think or speak of as being in any sense apart from each other or from God. You know, a sponge immersed in water becomes completely saturated with it. It returns to the state of complete oneness with the environment in which it grew. So, as we, returning to our source and abiding it, will reach the point of complete saturation. We are one in and with our source. God and I are one. Or as I like to say, God, I one, leaving out the and, which indicates two. So here, once you are God, I one, you are in God's house where all that God has and is ours. So to comprehend this fact is to be absolutely one in and with all supply. And to help awaken yourself to the state, try to feel yourself in the midst of infinite abundance, such as you might feel yourself in the warmth of the sun while taking a sun bath. After a while, you feel the warmth all through you. At the point of complete oneness, you say, I am warm. And the same situation will prevail then as and if you make your complete oneness with supply as it is. And Ingraham writes, train yourself to feel saturated with the wealth of the universe. Revel in the sense of infinite wealth that flows toward you, surrounds you, fills you. Let nothing dim your realization of that. All the fullness of life, of wealth, of exhaustless abundance is always, everywhere, abundantly manifest. Supply is the self-existent reality of omnipresent. Abundance is here. It is manifest. All that God has is mine now. I simply return to God's house, the state of absolute being where God dwells. I am that I am, and beside me there is no other. Therefore, God is all and is always completely and perfectly, richly manifest. It is up to us to sit in that statement until it becomes a truth for us within. And once it becomes that truth within, then we automatically attract all that we need in life. So I would like to take you through a couple of his meditations from the book. So I invite you to just close your eyes and go to that place within where you connect with your own Christ force, your Christ self. And just take a deep breath in. And as you let it out, just allow your body to relax on the chair or the couch or wherever you're sitting. And take another deep breath in. And as you let it out, allow your body to relax even more. The wealth of heaven and earth move toward me. On the current of infinite creative power. The tide of God's creative power. The Spirit of God that moved to create still moves. It moves to sustain me in all creation. It moves with pleasure to express and to fulfill itself in me, here and now. With eagerness, it floods my whole being. Pressing itself out into complete expression. To my mind and body and into all my affairs. I inherit the wealth of the universe. And it eagerly and actively seeks me out, pouring its great wealth upon me. I am richly and abundantly supplied within and without. From the eager storehouse of the universe, a supply that is more eager to manifest wealth through me than I am eager to receive it. I open my whole being wide, that the eagerness of abundance of God may enrich me and all my world. Behold, our God is one, the sum of all things visible and invisible. God is the wisdom, the power, and the substance of all things. Therefore, God is the wealth of heaven and earth. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. The earth and they that dwell within, the cattle on 1,000 hills, the silver and gold. I live and move and have my being in God. Therefore, I move and live and have my being in exhaustless wealth. God is my source. It is God that has made me. I am one with God and the wealth of God. The very essence and manifestation of infinite wealth is in me and through me and around me. Wealth fills me and flows through me. Wealth fills my home, my environment, my affairs, my business, and my world. I live perpetually in wealth, for wealth is everywhere. All that I can use is always at my command, for it is in me and I am it. Wealth is infinite and abundantly manifest, for God is wealth. I am created by wealth, fashioned of wealth, live in wealth, and am the very substance of wealth in all ways. I am wealthy in money, in health, in peace, in joy, in friendships. I am wealthy in all ways. I do not allow anything on the outside to dull my vision of reality. I stay awake. I stay awake to the fact that abundance is here now. And I choose to live in that until I see its rich manifestation all around me. I am wealthy in all ways. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Just take a beautiful deep breath in and come back to this time and place, being one with the wealth that you are. And so it is. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for listening to this video. We love you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. God bless.